Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's your way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Happy Monday, everybody, and happy Sports Equinox, one of my favorite days of the year. Looking forward to it. We are going to break all of that down. We've got Monday Night Football, the World Series, Game 3, 11 NBA games, 2 NHL, and 2 MLS as well. So really looking forward to that. And not only do we have a Monday Night Football game and a World Series Game 3, they should be very good games. So we will get into those, and we will also recap the weekend that was. As always, on Mondays, Chris Andrews, he'll be joining us at the desk to talk about college football week 9 and NFL week 8. But before we get into all of that, I just want to thank Jeff Parles for all that he did for us here at Sports by the Book. Really helped to get this thing off the ground. Jeff has some new projects in the works, and we wish him the best sincerely and look forward to following his journey and his career. So, ironically, yesterday, the Jets was the best thing about NFL on that Sunday. Really nice to see Aaron Glenn get his first win Ryan, I'm going to bring you in. Ryan McCormick, Alex White, everybody. All chalk yesterday in the NFL, really.
Yeah, favorites yesterday went 10-2 straight up and against the spread. Totals were 9-1 and 2 yesterday. My picks didn't do so good yesterday, so it wasn't a great Sunday for me. But it was a very decent Saturday. Good weekend in general. Got to watch the Jays win on Friday. Not necessarily as good on Saturday, but yeah, it was a great sports weekend. And yeah, just according to Front Office Sports, this is the 32nd sports equinox in history. So, well, NFL, NBA, NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and including MLS. So 32nd time in professional sports history.
I like that number, especially since now most of the professional leagues have 32 teams,
Right.
most of them. All 32 hockey teams will be in action tomorrow. We will get to that. But Ryan, it really started with the Chargers covering, barely got over that total, and then kind of just rolled on. But really cool to see that comeback win for the Jets. I will say the Bengals was one favorite that I did have on a teaser leg that kind of ruined my day as well. But good for them and good for Justin Fields, who was very emotional after that big win.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the post-game presser, but he kind of opened things up and got very honest and talked about how emotional he was this week and getting the win this week and the performance that they had, how much it meant to him, let alone the team, getting that first victory and kind of bouncing back from comments that the ownership had made and all that, getting benched and getting thrown back in because of an injury. Just the whole situation for Justin Fields feels good for him to get that win there, and good for the Jets to get their first win. They also still have the tiebreaker, lose the tiebreaker because the Bengals technically are, I guess, better than the Bucs. So they would lose the tiebreaker to the Saints. The Saints would still have the number one overall pick, or would now get the number one overall pick.
How about the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah,
I heard so much chatter about how the Dolphins were going to get crushed by the Falcons. And, of course, we had no Michael Penix Jr., and that definitely affected them. But the Dolphins really pulled it together, found a way, kind of looked like their old offense there. So it'll be interesting to see what we get from them moving forward. I'm thinking that was more of a one-off, but 34-10 win over the Falcons. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confused by the Falcons, and I know Chris Andrews has said for weeks that he's confused by the Falcons, so I can't wait to hear what he says in the next 30 minutes about the Falcons here after that one, and I understand Kirk Cousins instead of Michael Penix, but 5 different touchdown scores in the game, 4 different players for the Dolphins, only 1 total touchdown for the Falcons, no tight end touchdowns on a day that was supposed to be celebrating tight ends, National Tight End Day, that is. And so one of my picks, Kyle Pitts, did not find the paint. Only one Falcons touchdown there in that one. And then there were several other games with 0 tight end touchdowns. The Bills win 40-9 with no tight end touchdowns in the game. The Bucs covered 23-3, no tight end touchdowns in the game. Only 1 offensive touchdown in that game. Yep. 0 tight end touchdowns in Cowboys-Broncos. Troy Franklin finds the end zone twice. Javonte Williams finds the touchdown twice in that one. And R.J. Harvey finds the end zone 3 times in that one. And then last night, I know we watched on Pat McAfee this morning saying it was a great day for tight ends. I don't necessarily think so. We kind of highlighted it by Tucker Kraft, who did have an enormous game on Sunday Night Football, 7 catches, 170-some yards, I think, and 2 touchdowns. So not as big of a tight end day that we were hoping for, but did get some guys did find their paint. So
it was good to see Kraft and the Packers, really. I mean, not the best first half, but put it together the second. I know, not your favorite team there, but I will say some of these teams really did separate themselves. Tampa Bay did not look good offensively. You mentioned it, but their defense really showed up to help them get that win on the road, even with the injuries. And Denver, I got to give it to the Broncos there. They looked really good against Dallas and really shut down one of the best offenses that we have seen so far this year. They kind of took a step forward, I would say. And then the Colts. Ryan, you've been talking about the Colts and what they are doing offensively and how we need to take them serious. And, I mean, Jonathan Taylor really needs to be in the MVP conversation, not just the offensive player of the year, because what he is doing is amazing. His 3rd touchdown against the same team in 3 games, right, against Tennessee. And we saw the call. He thought it was 3 rushing, right, but it ended up being a receiving touchdown for that one. But.
Yeah, so first player in NFL history to have 3 touchdowns against the same team in 3 consecutive games against that team. So yeah, Jonathan Taylor just owning the Titans at this point. But we should have the NFL MVP ready. So Drew Dog, if you want to switch over to that one, Jonathan Taylor is actually even odds, not necessarily even odds to win MVP, but even with Daniel Jones to win league MVP at 20-1 over on DraftKings. The favorite is still Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to see him in action tonight, either making that price closer to being a minus price, or he should still remain the odds-on favorite tonight after tonight. But yeah.
Yeah, and Baker Mayfield has definitely taken a step back, so
Yeah.
I'm sure his odds have gotten longer there too. But we'll break this down even more. Chris Andrews, I know we have some reverse teasers that came through for some bettors over the weekend, so I'm interested to hear his thoughts on that and to find out how many.
Well, and we'll get Chris. He'll tell us how many different winners he had on it, but 12 options on the card. 11 winners
Oh my
on
gosh.
the card. 11 sides covered the spread on the card. The only one that didn't lost by the hook. The Ravens 14.5, and they won by 14. So we could have almost had a 12 for 12 reverse teaser weekend.
That is like a bookmaker's nightmare
Yeah.
right there. We'll talk more about college football with him too. Of course, the big news, we haven't even brought it up. Brian Kelly no longer the head coach of LSU. Really, I mean, they had a 4-point lead, I believe it was, against A&M after the first half, and then the Aggies just flipped that game around, 49-25. Very impressive win for them. Excited to get Chris's thoughts on that, because they've been in my top 10, but I still had my reservations, and he was saying the same thing, and I think they really proved that they are contenders this year. And Marcel Reed playing as good as anybody at the quarterback position. Had one big mistake in the first half, but really turned it around. So Brian Kelly, huge buyout. It's just been a trickle effect here with these head coaches, and starting with James Franklin and now other teams. I think it's just kind of put the pressure on them to move quickly here. We are not even to Halloween, and we have a lot of Power 4 jobs open in college football. But let's go back to baseball. You kind of brought it up, and it was a really good game on Friday. The Blue Jays get it done. Of course, a grand slam in that one. And then the Dodgers respond in game 2, kind of a slower, less exciting game, more of a pitcher's duel in that one. But Yamamoto, another complete game. I picked the wrong pitcher there for LA, but he's just doing outstanding stuff here in the postseason as well. Your thoughts overall? It's tied up now going into game 3. I imagine you got to be pretty happy about that because you are rooting for Toronto.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Blue Jays in this series. And kind of games 1 and 2 went the way we kind of talked about it. If the Blue Jays, really the entire postseason for the Dodgers, if you're able to chase out the starter early, you can get offensive production. If you can't, good luck. And game 1, they chased out Snell early, got almost 30 pitches in the first inning to where he needed to conserve his pitch count, whatever. Moog got him out early. Yamamoto, another complete game in the postseason. Something that's only been done, I think, 3 times in Major League history, is 2 complete games in the postseason. But yeah, this series getting back to LA now. Did you happen to see Dave Roberts' comments about the travel coming back into the States?
I did not.
So he was basically saying that the Dodgers had a little bit of a delay, a little bit of a hiccup getting across customs or the border, having an issue getting back into the States. It just sounds like Dave Roberts is starting excuses now, or starting excuses early. So I'm loving the Blue Jays. I'm loving the spot that the Blue Jays are in. We on Friday went into this saying that they are going to be able to play free. They have no pressure on their back. It's all self-imposed by the Dodgers. The pressure that the Dodgers feel is all self-imposed on themselves, as well as the rest of the baseball world saying that they ruined baseball and bought the trophy or whatever. I'm loving this spot that the Blue Jays are in.
And we also talked about we were looking forward to when Max Scherzer would be back on the mound, and he is getting the nod today.
Yep.
Tyler Glasnow on the other side, which I got to give Tyler Glasnow some more props because, I mean, he could be an ace on a lot of other teams coming in
Absolutely.
here for game 3. So It should be an interesting one, but I mean, that's interesting, Ryan. That must mean that this is the most threatened that Dave Roberts has felt of any series so far. And that would make sense because what the Blue Jays can do, they don't strike out, they make contact, they find ways to get on base, and that's the biggest threat that you can have. So $2 favorites here at home with Tyler Glasnow. Game 3 tied up, high total, 8.5. Are we worried at all with the shadows? Because we had talked about that with the series with the Brewers and time of the game and everything. Are we concerned with that?
I don't think so because it's a 5 o'clock first pitch, so the shadows should be already past the infield, like barely hitting the outfield at that point. If still in the field of play, so we should be good on shadows there. The only reason why it was such a big effect is because that was a 1:30
much earlier
pitch, in the divisional or in the championship series. So they had the whole game with the shadow going through the field, but it shouldn't be an issue here, which is kind of why I think we're seeing the total at 8.5 when we had seen it at 7.5 in Toronto. So 8.5 with juice to the under in this one. What are your thoughts here?
Well, looking at, just going off of their stats in the postseason right now, so we know that Scherzer only went 5 2/3. He only had that one start, which was a great start for him. 1.24 WHIP, and looking at his last 3 though, which goes back farther, but opponent batting average just a 167 against him. Now the xFIP a little bit higher. Looking at Glasnow in the postseason, he's gone 13 innings and a third. A 0.68 ERA, which we don't really use too much of, but a 1.13 WHIP for him. Same kind of opponent batting average, a 152. So it's a high total. They're telling us we're going to get runs, and maybe both of these guys get hit up a little bit. But looking at their numbers, it's tough. I'm leaning more first 5. Can we get a few runs in there and get a few guys on base and maybe a home run or 2 from either side? But sidewise, I have nothing. I really don't. I think it's a little steep for a World Series Game 3 that's tied up. I think maybe $1.80 here for the Dodgers. So you're getting that on the other side with the Blue Jays. But I'm not going to jump inside. Lean into an over there for the first 5, though.
Okay. See, I was kind of thinking under first 5 just based off their numbers, but you kind of talked about it and kind of steered me away. So
4.5 though. It's high for a first 5. And what we saw from Scherzer, can he do it twice in a row? I think he can.
Plus, he's got, he's going to be Mad Max, and it's against a team that he played for.
Yep.
So I could have a revenge angle, but it's Max Scherzer in general. So I think, and we saw Tyler Glasnow get roughed up a little bit against the Brewers. Should have given up in a 2 spot, came back out, fired up, shut him down. But again, that was in the shadows, so maybe not. But again, these 2 pitchers get very feisty and could shut down the lineup. So I will fight myself on taking the under 4.5, getting the plus spread, getting even.
Well, you know what? I think I just found something else I like more. I think I like the run line, Blue Jays, first 5. Getting half a run, and it's plus 105.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. You're just either hoping for a tie game or the Blue Jays get to Glasnow.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm going to take a little shot there because I wasn't that confident with the total. It's just telling you 8.5 is high. It's telling you we are going to see some runs. My dad's sheet, Kenny White, he's got it higher at 9.5. So that's kind of just where I was leaning, but you're right. You never know with these first 5 or with these starting pitchers, and they kind of settle in, right? They could give up 1 or maybe 2, and then they really do settle in because they're that good and have been here.
Well, just to get our viewers' thoughts, we asked a poll today outside of tonight's game, more series thoughts, but which exact outcome do you think happens in this series? Dodgers in 5, Blue Jays in 5, Dodgers in 6, or Blue Jays in 6? And we included the South Point odds. So Dodgers in 5 plus 275, Blue Jays in 5 is 12-1. So both of these, or either of those teams, winning 3 straight games in this series. Dodgers in 6 plus 285, Blue Jays in 6, 13-2, or plus 650. So we'd love your votes there, love your thoughts there, and some other people in the chat, Attila, JR, a couple letters and numbers. I don't know how to give you a shout out, but like in the maybe Dave Roberts Blue Jay or excuses, or maybe laughing that I called it excuses, but thinking the Blue Jays, this gets back to Toronto, but the Dodgers ultimately win it there. So keep voting. We'll have a football one for you later in the episode or later in the show. But yeah, that's it for baseball.
It will be interesting to see what Toronto does after this one, right, with their starting pitchers, because now we just saw Guzman go the other night and they lose that one, so he is unavailable. I don't think Savage will be ready till Game 5, right? So almost like a bullpen day for them. We do have Shane Bieber. I guess that is who would be up next.
Yep.
But good. So we'll announce that poll by the end of the show, what we get from everybody.
Yep.
Let's do the 2 hockey since we only have 2, and then we'll go into Monday Night Football, Commanders, Chiefs. Looking forward to this one tonight. I hope it is a good game. It will be Marcus Mariota, no Jaden Daniels, but we'll get into that shortly. 2 hockey games. All 32 teams play tomorrow. We'll go through all of those, too, with Matt Neverett will join us here on Sports by the Book. So all 4 teams, we've been talking about this. It's the first of their back-to-back. The second game I'm really looking forward to, Ryan, because I got to believe it's the first time that Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman will be against each other. It could have happened last year, but Ullmark did miss a chunk.
Right.
So I'd have to really dive into it and see. But if everybody remembers, they were both at Boston, and they had the little handshake and everything. They were a great 1-2 punch there to have in net, but I imagine that Boston couldn't pay both of them. So Linus Ullmark now the starting goalie for the Senators. That is game 2 if you are going off a rotation number. But since we're there, I guess we can start there with the Senators being a pretty big favorite here at home.
Sorry, I was trying to find the research there. Yeah, but the Ottawa is a minus 165 favorite here. Totals at 6 with juice to the over. You mentioned both of these, or all 4 of these teams will be playing tomorrow night. All 4 of these teams are flipping their setting. So the road teams will be at home tomorrow. The home teams will be on the road tomorrow. So Boston will be at home tomorrow night, so kind of ending a road trip in Ottawa. But anyway, yes, Senators minus 165, juice to the over at 6.
It's really interesting because while the Bruins are at the very bottom of the Atlantic, it's not a big gap here. Pretty tight right now in that division. So the Bruins 4-6 on the year with 8 points, and the Senators right now 4-1 with 9 points. Pretty much the same goal differential. -3 for the Bruins, -4 for the Senators. And Jeremy Swayman, I mean, he has been the better of the 2 goalies, so this is a tough one. If anything, though, I'm looking at an under here, under 6. I do think we'll get the best from both goalies, and I really am not that impressed with either team right now offensively. So the Bruins, I mean, they did beat the Avs, but before that, they lost 6 in a row coming into this one. And on the other side, as much as I like the Senators, they've had a lot of injuries already to start the year. So under 6 would be my take on that second game there.
All right, so I got the numbers. They did face these 2 goaltenders did face each other last year twice.
Okay.
Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark. The first was November 9th in Boston, a 3-2 overtime win for the Senators and Linus Ullmark. And then the second matchup was in Ottawa, a 6-3 win for the Senators. Jeremy Swayman got pulled after giving up 4 goals. So Linus Ullmark 2-0 against his goalie mate, or former goalie mate, there in Boston.
And we know Jeremy Swayman kind of held out to start the year last year and just never really found his rhythm, was not quite as good as the year before. So I like what I've seen from him so far this year. Might be a little bit of value there on the dog as well. But is there a reason? I mean, is this one of those faster ice up in Canada? Because that first game, that's the outcome I would like here tonight. But now that makes me a little bit nervous with you finding those games from last year.
I mean, we talked about it last week. Ottawa has been one of the worst teams in the NHL in goals per game allowed. And they also just put up 7 in their last game. So I definitely think there can be offense in this game. So you liked the over. I think I'm going to like the over in this one as well.
I might stay off of it altogether and just watch this one and see what we get from both sides. But because that's tough. I mean, if anything, though, I'd probably make a case for the dog there with Jeremy Swayman having a much better game against the Senators this time around. First game, pretty interesting here with the Blues and the Penguins. I just am still shocked with Pittsburgh coming into this one 6-2-1 with 13 points. They're second right now in the very competitive Metro Division. They're behind New Jersey. They're in front of the Capitals. They're in front of the Canes. So pretty impressive right now. They're 8th in goals for and 8th in goals against. So nice little spot that the Penguins want to be in. And right now it's pretty much a flip 'em here, or a pick 'em, coin flip between these two.
Yeah, and for some reason the juice-ish, minus 15 on the road team, Blues minus 15, and then minus 105 on the Penguins. I think the wrong side is getting favored here. I would be with the Penguins at home. Their offense is playing much better. The Blues haven't been playing much defense recently. They're struggling to start this year. I like the Penguins tonight.
I do too, a lot actually. And you're right, the Blues 31st in goals against, giving up an average of 4.13. So hockey's a lot like baseball, where you're trying to get on the streaks at the right time. And with current form, maybe the Blues turn it around and they're the better roster. But right now, the Penguins are playing a lot better. So minus 105, I think they should be at least $1.15, maybe $1.20 here at home with current form. So both of us like Pittsburgh in that one, kind of figuring out a difference of opinions and over under. Not sure with the second one, but you were leaning to the over. I'm leaning to the dog there with the Bruins and the Senators. All right, Chris Andrews is joining us in 5 to 10 minutes, so we got to get to it. Monday Night Football, Commanders versus Chiefs. We did see some action come in on taking the points, because on Friday's Football Frenzy, you could get 12, even 12.5, right, Brian? And now we're at 11.5 for the Kansas City Chiefs at home, which feels a little bit better here, right?
Yeah, but based off of yesterday, I don't know how you can be taking points when pretty much no dog covered yesterday. Yeah, actually no dog covered outright, or you either had to win outright or in order to cover. And I don't. The only case that I can make for the Commanders in this one is the fact that the Chiefs have the Bills next week. They're going to have a short week, go into Buffalo. Is this a look-ahead spot? I don't think it's necessarily a college-type look-ahead where they're going to, throw the opponent to the side. It is still the NFL. You got to be ready week to week. I do think the Chiefs absolutely win this game. I think they absolutely score 30. It's just a matter of, will there be garbage time points and that kind of route, at least in my mind, from the Commanders. I don't see this being a close game for the first half. I think this is a backdoor situation for the Commanders. Yeah,
I can't fault you for that. And the last thing we saw from the Chiefs was a shutout against the Raiders. And they were at home, so they get 2 back-to-back home games here, so that's a nice spot for them. But I just think the Commanders are a better organization than getting 11.5 on the road. I think Marcus Mariota is a decent enough backup here where he can help get points. And I know now it's funny because we've been talking about the Chiefs not having any weapons, and you look at their starting lineup here with Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and then Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce. It looks like he has some of the best weapons. But I think on the other side with Terry McLaurin coming back, that Washington kind of matches those. Bill, the running back, has been outstanding for them. Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Chris Moore, and Zach Ertz. So, kind of just going position by position, I think the Commanders can hang in this one. 11.5 is so many points in the NFL, and we're just kind of prisoner of the moment from yesterday, right? Where it seemed like there weren't enough points and all of these big favorites, the Colts 14-point favorite, and didn't even really look competitive. But I think this is one where we can give the Washington Commanders a little respect here. I like the 11.5. I think they can cover. And if it makes you feel any better, Brian, going into yesterday, everyone was talking about the NFC keeps dominating the AFC. And I like to think that those things tend to even out.
Right.
And it did yesterday with the AFC going 6-1 versus NFC on Sunday. So they kind of do. And we'll see some dogs start to cover. Now, I know October is kind of the chalky month where dogs are live early and then later in that middle portion, but we'll see. I'm glad that you mentioned they have the Bills up next. That might be the best point of them all.
Yeah. Well, it's another kind of point I would like. So the Chiefs have won 4 of their last 5. They lost on the road in Jacksonville by 3. In their 4 wins, they won by 13, 17, 13, 31. So covered double digits in all 4 of their wins. That was against the Giants, Baltimore, who did have Lamar, the Lions, who had a banged up secondary, and the Raiders. I would like to say the Ravens and the Lions were formidable opponents in those games, and they won by double digits. I don't think the Commanders are a formidable opponent with Marcus Mariota behind center. They did not look good last week. I made a mistake in betting on bad teams this weekend, and I won't be doing it tonight. I think we'll talk about the tight end or the touchdowns here in a second, but the mouths to feed that the Chiefs have, Patrick Mahomes' passing touchdowns is at 2.5 instead of the standard 1.5. We're expecting a lot of offense from the Chiefs tonight, and I don't know how it happens on the road for a backup quarterback in the Commanders when their offense has looked lost really for this entire season so far. So I like the Chiefs here.
It's okay. I can't fault you. I really can't. I will say Terry McLaurin is a huge part of that offense.
Yes.
They have not had him once, but he did have a great connection with Jada Daniels, not necessarily Marcus Mariota, but we'll see in this one. Baltimore was a mess by that point, even though you're right, Lamar did play. And then Vegas just had so many injuries. So we'll see. We'll see. Another standalone game here for the Chiefs. And you're right, have won 4 of their last 5. And if you look on the other side, Commanders have dropped 3 of their last 4. So feels like we got the more desperate team there, though, and they need to figure some things out, especially
Absolutely.
They're going to try to make a run for that division again.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of saw it yesterday. Desperate teams, they can pay off. So.
Well, you're thinking of going against your team, right? That was that was the Ravens' best put together game because of desperation mode for sure in that one.
There's we could put an hour-long show together on that game in general, but yeah. Well, we'll talk about it with Chris here in a minute.
Yeah. Anything for you here in touchdowns or any props at all? There's Chris Andrews joining us.
Scared me. Touchdowns. We've got Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce minus prices to score touchdowns tonight. Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt is the favorite for the Reds or Command. Jeez, Chris, you scared me. In terms of an actual touchdown score tonight, I can't pick one confidently just because there are so many mouths to feed for the Chiefs. And I do kind of think that once we get, I think they're going to blow the Commanders out of the water and maybe back doors here with some of the Commanders guys. But
maybe you want to look at the Chiefs team total.
Yeah.
Sounds like you like their points.
What is that at here?
I like Noah Gray. Give me the backup tight end here to keep the National Tight End Day going from yesterday.
I don't hate it. I actually, now that you mention it, just to make people happy, it could get Travis Kelce and Noah Gray and Zach Ertz get 3 tight end touchdowns for people not being happy yesterday. But yeah, do you happen to know the team total?
I do not. I can pull
It's
it
near-
up though right now. While we do that,
Is it
actually, let's
12?
take a quick break.
Close at what?
We'll come back. We'll know both
48.
Commanders and the
Maybe
Chiefs
26.
team
Yeah, I'm
totals
gonna take
going
the
into
over. I'm gonna
tonight's
take the over.
game, but we'll get Chris Andrews here on the desk. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Sports by the Book.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Monday, Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. We have Chris Andrews, Sportsbook Director here at the South Point, joining us now. Chris, happy Equinox. We have all 4 professional
what
sports
Brian say?
going.
There's 32 of them in history?
Yeah, according to Front Office Sports, this is the 32nd.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so kind of fun.
We're going to be busy today.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
So get here early, especially the Chiefs are playing. Don't you guys feel that pretty good?
Yeah,
Kansas City?
and the showroom too. I mean, Mike Libinati does a great job over in the showroom. They're selling tickets this year. They had to because we just had to.
Yeah.
But it's filling up, and that's a great event over there. I still think, seriously, the best TV in town or maybe anywhere. Maybe some of these stadiums might have a better one. But yeah, we have that, and then of course, this is going to be. I think we're going to have a lot of parlays to Dodgers and Chiefs. I already told my crew to get ready.
I would not be surprised. And there are a lot of Dodgers fans here. It was funny leaving Friday and that game 1 starting, and your book was full. And everybody in there was sitting clapping as they were just announcing the lineups and stuff. So it's
All right,
fun.
let me ask
Love
you
it.
guys. You're fans, obviously, and from this town and everything. So we already have the showroom where that's going to feature the football game. In the sports book, should I have the sound on the Dodger game or the Monday Night Football game? What do you think?
I think Ryan probably the better of the two.
I'm going to say the baseball game.
You're going to say the baseball game?
Yeah, I'm going to say
I'm
the
kind
baseball
of leaning that way, too. I mean, it's the World Series.
Yeah.
You know, this is just some Monday night game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know it's the Chiefs, and they're top of my rankings, and they've been in the Super Bowl I don't know how many times in the last couple of years. But, it's the World Series, for God's sake.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
And Max Scherzer's starting. Come on. Against the former team.
I know. Yeah, it's a lot of drama.
Well, a lot of chalk yesterday. We're going to start there with our
Really?
recap
I
with
hadn't
the
noticed, yeah.
NFL. I imagine that public bettors did
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
well, and then we were talking about some of those reverse teasers.
The reverse teasers, boy, they got us pretty good yesterday on those. And it's hard to hit those things.
Yes.
And but when they hit you, they hurt, and they hurt us pretty good yesterday. But it's funny, you guys talked about one game that didn't cover was the Ravens.
Right.
With all the quarterback issues, we took that game off the card. That game was off all the cards, so we might.
Oh, so the new cards went 11 for 11.
Yeah. So
Oh
you
my
just have to
gosh.
pick the right, because it's not, obviously one winner, one loser. But yeah, that was the one loser. We took that off the cards.
Wow.
Oh
I'm
my
in the Hall of Fame too, but
Well, overall, Chris, what do you think so far with the NFL? Just because I've said a few of the teams kind of, separated themselves.
Yeah.
With the Broncos, big win over the Cowboys. The Colts look really good. It was the Titans, but still, they just continue.
well, you talk about
Packers,
separation. There's separation both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you look at some of the teams, like Carolina. I thought was a team that was kind of sneaking up there. Pittsburgh. If those ratings that I put out, that was like a trouble sign for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They were not, and you could see yesterday, the offense was actually okay, but the defense was atrocious. I mean, they couldn't tackle anybody. And the offense, I thought Rodgers played well, but they were in his face the whole game. And like I said, anybody knows me, I think offenses start at the offensive line.
Right.
And I've talked about the Steelers have invested quite a bit in that offensive line. Occasionally it's been good, but last night they certainly weren't. So there was some separation both ways. The Titans you mentioned, the Saints.
Yes.
I thought the Saints, were sneaking up, but they've gotten progressively worse. Again, the Panthers I talked about. The Giants, I know they were maybe like a little bit of a flash in the pan, but losing Scatterboo.
Yes.
Well, that's, regardless of who you like, who you don't like, I always say I want everybody to do well, even though I'm rooting against half of them on a weekly basis. But this kid really, a lot of people like my wife, who's not even a Giants fan, she loved Scatterboo. She thought it was great. So, missing him now for the year. I hope he's back at full strength next year.
Me
That's
too.
a bad injury. I mean, I would hope he fully recovers. But again, the Vikings kind of separated themselves on the downside. Again, we were thinking Carson
Yes.
Wentz coming in was going to be, an adequate backup, and McCarron. I mean, the kid, he's only played like 2 games, the last couple of years, So I mean, anyway, there's a lot of separation, good and bad. Buffalo looked very good. Kansas City has been good. Denver's been great. But we'll see what happens from here.
Patriots, too.
Patriots look fantastic.
They really
They were
do.
down early,
Yeah. Ryan?
Yeah, that was 2 teams I was kind of questioning Chris on. Was I know we've kind of talked about the Falcons a little bit and them being confusing
Yes.
the whole year, and then the Patriots were the other one that I was going to ask about.
Well, I have to look through some of my numbers, those evaluations. But the Falcon game, I mean, they should be much better than they are. And I think that goes to coaching. I hate to throw anybody under the bus, but I mean, I've never been a big Raheem Morris fan. And would they run the ball like 9 times? I haven't gone through all the boxes yet. Did they have 9 rushes with that team? I mean, come on, man. I know they were playing from behind quite a bit, but you can't abandon the running game when you have a guy like that.
Right, yeah.
The guys were talking about him being the MVP, Bijan.
Yeah.
But you can't just abandon. I mean, I remember, again, probably the 2 best quarterbacks of this current century, Brady and Manning. I remember seeing them even when they were down. They would not abandon the run. Just to keep that defense honest.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the two best guys out there. It might be, 2nd and 13 or something like that. They weren't afraid to run the ball to try to get a few yards and set themselves up. Or even if it was maybe 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. These are two greatest passers. But you cannot abandon the run.
I feel like that it's been the Falcons' issue now for a couple years.
Yeah.
So it makes sense where it does start from the top there, right? Of course, the Jets get their first win.
Yeah.
With the crazy comeback in the fourth quarter, but
Yeah.
good to see for Aaron Glenn. And
Yeah. That was one of the few good games for us.
Yeah.
That was pretty. We had a couple good games, but that was one of them.
tonight, though, you said you think you're going to have a lot of parlays with the Chiefs, but there was a buyback spot because, I mean, there was 12.5 last week, and now we're
they
down to
took
11.
12 off of us this morning.
Okay.
And they had taken 12.5, I believe, off us earlier in the week. So I got some money, but, there's with all, when you look at that Monday night game, you see everything that gets funneled into that.
Right.
It's all favorite money getting funneled into that. So, right now, if you're going to look for a good number, you might find it at the South Point because we'll be at the top of the market.
So you're rooting for Commanders today.
yeah.
I feel for you. Do you feel like that's a lot of points for them, or?
We
But
talked
you
about
like
it
the
on
Chiefs
Friday.
now. Yeah.
I think it was an overreaction. I think that number is too high. I mean, I think the Chiefs, they're playing great. I got them, like I said, the top of my rankings, but they don't always cover big numbers at home. I think they walk out of there with a 7 or 10 point victory. They'll be happy as can be, and why wouldn't they be? But,
Yeah.
I think this is an overreaction.
Yeah, got to get ready for a big AFC showdown.
Yeah, they
next
play
week.
Buffalo next week.
That's right. Yeah.
Big game.
Let's go to college. We got a
Yeah.
lot to talk about, including not the purple Washington shirt you're wearing, but
They look pretty
LSU
good.
purple. They looked
Oh,
very
yeah.
good. I wish I would have kept them on my cards. But Brian Kelly gets fired after that brutal second half against Texas A&M at home, of course. They ended up losing 49-25. I mean, really, we should be talking more about A&M and how impressive, but it does kind of steal the spotlight here. Like $53 million buyout for Brian Kelly, so
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
I was watching some of the shows today, and they talked. A lot of this comes out afterwards, But they said where Kelly really never bought into the whole Louisiana culture. He kind of everybody remembers that first. I don't know if it was a press conference. You wouldn't call it that, but he was talking to the fans and had that fake Southern accent. It was just terrible. But after that, he never bought into it, And guys were saying, when Saban got the job at LSU, and let's not forget he won a national championship at LSU. When he got the job, he had no Southern roots, and he went in there and kind of said it, but we're still going to win and we're going to recruit, we're going to do all that stuff. But he didn't come in to try to be one of them from day one. Now, eventually, he's been to LSU, Alabama. He's kind of
Right.
a Southern guy now.
Yeah.
But you can't be phony. And I think a lot of stuff came out where Kelly, they just didn't think he was like just a genuine person, with the way he treated his players and his assistant coaches and all that other stuff. Like I said, a lot of this comes out at the end. But that's a plum job. I don't know. I mean, there's some good jobs out there. Penn State, of course, a great job, and Florida's a great job,
Yes.
and LSU's a great job, and I have to see who else is going to be out there. But I think I hate to tell Notre Dame fans, but I think Marcus Freeman could write his own ticket. But he might be happy as can be at Notre Dame. And again, why wouldn't you be? You're following, going all the way back to Newt Rockney. Frank Leahy, you guys don't remember him, and Lou Holtz. What a great trajectory. And then that's another one. Kelly left Notre Dame. You can't win a national championship in Notre Dame? What? You can't? Are you crazy? Of course you can win a national championship
Right.
in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I know.
That's one of the reasons he left, he said. But
Yeah.
I think, the entry, getting into Notre Dame is a little more difficult than probably LSU, I would say.
Well, and LSU's a great spot for recruiting. Don't have a lot of competition within the state,
Yeah.
at least. Where Florida, I mean, you do have Miami and South Florida, some other schools there that could be competitive. But
Well, I'll give him one more job, too. It's kind of flown under the radar at this point. The Stanford job is a big job. And I don't like them in the ACC, but you got Andrew Luck, who's like the general manager. Stanford has a great football tradition.
Yeah.
And again, you go back to Jim Plunkett, John Elway, Andrew. There's a lot of great players have come out of Stanford.
Andrew Luck is awesome. I saw actually him doing a sideline interview
Yeah.
before the game, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I love the guy.
how much he loves that program.
Yeah, and
They're going to be okay.
I got a lot of connections to Stanford University itself. So other than Penn State, that's the team I root for the most.
Let's dive more into the SEC because Texas and Alabama were both very fortunate to get the wins and kind of hoping Texas would lose. They already have 2 losses now, but they are not out of the conversation yet. Could still make it to the SEC championship, but they did end up beating Mississippi State 45-38. Terrible for Mississippi State. They were trying to get their first
Terrible
SEC.
if you took +7 like I did.
Oh my gosh!
Were you on that same side?
No, I wasn't.
That was brutal.
But it was the right side.
Hell
It was
yeah.
definitely the right side. But overall thoughts? You're not going to increase Texas too much after that, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No. I mean, they were lucky to get to overtime. I mean, yeah, they have a 7-point victory, but that, Mississippi State fell apart. They, allowed them to score 24 points in the fourth quarter. But I'm looking at A&M, and I make my rough draft of my power ratings. I have to go through the A&M box a little bit more closely. Is it a knock on LSU, or was A&M that good? And I'm not sure at this point. I'm going to try to figure it out. But I think you and I both talked about it. Neither one of us have been that impressed with A&M, and that's why I need to look at them a little more closely. Because I do love Mike Elko. I think he's a terrific coach. Maybe it has taken this long for everything to kind of come together. I think that's very possible.
I do too. Especially, if you were watching that game, he was never satisfied. It was, and I think the team kind of feels that, right?
Yeah.
He's not okay with just having the lead.
I think I was watching the World
he's
Series
pushing
that
him.
night. I didn't watch that much football.
Yeah, World Series was on. You were watching Yamamoto pitches. Second complete game.
Oh my God! And I don't know how anybody ever gets a hit off this guy.
I know.
Jeez, man, was he good?
And he was one of their best pitchers throughout the year.
Yeah.
He threw the most of any starters, along with Kershaw and I think Dustin May. And then now he steps up in the big moment here. So.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Just a couple more I want to ask you about. I guess Vandy gets the win. Mizzou, of course, lost their quarterback throughout that game with Prbula. But it wasn't pretty, really, from them. But 17-10 win for them.
Well, let me just say, too, we opened that game, and I made my numbers, and I made the game pick this week against Texas. But when we opened it, it was pretty much 2.5 everywhere. And I said, well, maybe I'm just being a little biased, anti-Texas after what they did to me last week or whatever. So I opened it wasn't up for more than a second when the money came in on Vandy. So I moved to a full point. I'm down to 1.5 with that game.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of sharp money on Vandy this week.
Wow.
A lot of respect. A lot of respect in the among wise guys. This is definitely a wise guy move.
They definitely proved that they can win, in multiple ways.
Yeah. What's their coach's name?
Clark Lee.
He could write his own ticket too. I hope he stays at Vandy. I really do. Hope he stays there.
Yeah. Anything else that jumped out? There are some big games coming up where we've got 4 ranked. So Oklahoma.
That's a big game, yeah. Tennessee.
Against Tennessee. Tennessee looks like they've found their rhythm again. If you were on Kentucky, that was definitely the wrong side. Oklahoma coming off a loss to Ole Miss, that was a big win for them on the road.
Big win for Ole Miss. Yeah. Lane Kiffin talking trash afterwards to a couple of the players.
It's so funny to me that Lane Kiffin's the first name whenever there's an opening. But
he's bouncing around a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he needs to stay put and
finish
the job
I think
there.
James Franklin's going to find himself a good job, and I'm not sure Penn State did the right thing with him. They almost had no choice, but I'm going to root for James Franklin.
Well, you bring up Penn State, and they are on the road at Ohio State this weekend. Game of the year when it opened up was Ohio State minus 3.5.
Wow.
And I checked, Ryan. I got like $50 on Ohio State, so it's not like everybody else felt the same as we did.
Should have jumped on it then. Ohio State now minus 21 against the Nittany Lions. That's a crazy jump. Just the difference.
There's a couple other quarterback situations. What is it with Florida State? Is he out? What's his name?
Castellanos.
Yep.
Yeah, is he out?
Let me make sure.
That's and then I know Memphis come back from a real big win.
Yes.
I want to check their quarterback situation.
He
Arizona
played.
State. The kid from Memphis played.
Brandon
They had
Lewis
a huge
played.
comeback.
Yes, they did.
They were on the ropes, dead in the water. Pick
Yep.
your cliche, but they came back with a great effort. Arizona State, what happened there? I don't think he finished the game. Yeah, check that one out.
That would make sense.
Yeah, because they fell apart second half.
Houston went in there and just dominated from the beginning, though,
Yeah,
so they
I
couldn't
think he
really
got
come
hurt, though.
back.
I think the
Okay,
quarterback got
Sam Levitt, so something to look for, definitely. Yeah, but we've been talking about Houston. That was a bad move by me, thinking that Arizona State had figured it out.
I bet against them, too.
Yeah.
And we always talk about Willie Fritz, how much we like him, and he gets the most out of his teams wherever he goes, and I think he's going to be successful at Houston.
7-1 right now, 4-1 in the Big 12,
Yeah.
so they're kind of on their way. They've got West Virginia this week, so some big ones. Cincinnati and Utah. It's a huge game coming up this weekend. That is ranked versus ranked. Cincinnati kind of sneaky right now, 5-0 in the Big 12, and Utah 3-2.
Yeah, another sneaky team
3-1.
coming to town here, New Mexico. That's been a terrible program for pretty much my whole life. But all of a sudden, they're playing some pretty decent football.
They are.
Yeah.
And hey, San Diego State too.
It's another shutout.
Woo.
I think among the non-power fours, they might have the best defense.
They're number 2 right now in points allowed behind Ohio State.
Yeah,
so
and they
that's
had
pretty good.
They had like 1 or 2 bad games too among there, but they have a couple shutouts. I know the one game they gave up 3. So I think among non-power fives, I think that's the best defense out there.
Yeah.
And if you have a great defense, you can always win. Even if it's 6-3 like they did that one game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I don't think they have a Mountain West loss, actually. So, a lot of people kind of just penciled in Boise and UNLV, but SDSU may be there.
Yeah, they're playing Wyoming this week. Another team who we've kind of liked, and they looked pretty good the other day. That's going to be a really good game. I made the number a little bit higher. I'm probably a little biased towards San Diego State, but I'd be very careful with that. I think that's a sneaky good game.
I do too. I did see that one. It did catch my eye.
Just to jump in on San Diego State's defense, they've given up 50 points in 7 games.
Wow. So 7 points a game plus 7 plus.
Yep.
That's pretty darn good.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Georgia and Florida this week.
That's right.
They've gotten away from it. Used to be called the world's largest cocktail party.
Yeah.
But with political correctness, they don't do that anymore. But I think those guys are going to have a pretty good party.
7.5. Is that where you're at right now with Georgia?
I am at 7.5. Yeah.
Okay.
I had it a little higher.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, it would only be the favorite for me, I think.
Yeah, I made it a little higher. I made it 9.
Yeah. Might be a good underplay. I'm going to watch your board today. We'll see if anybody comes in to bet your totals.
By the way, that
I
guy
already have some
he
circled.
did not come in on Monday. He came in later in the week. I was checking today, and he beat us up again.
Wow.
Yep.
We're trying to help everybody who watches our show, and some of us.
We really do. Guys ask me a lot, why do you do this? I said, really. I mean, I always say, at the end of the year, the bookmakers are going to be fine. We'll be okay. I'd like to grow the market. I'd like to have people. Listen, a lot of people do this very seriously, and a lot of people do it because they want to have fun. It's fun to bet. It's fun to root. Like my wife, she's in action every week. I don't think she's ever going to be a professional bettor, but she's, she bets her Saturday and Sunday card. I'm sure she'll have some action tonight. She hates Kansas City, so I'm sure she'll be on the dog.
That's good. You guys can root for the same team tonight.
Yeah,
because I'm sure
some. We do that,
yeah,
but,
I'm sure sometimes.
Tonight, I'm sure we will be.
Yeah.
She hates the Dodgers too, by the way. So we'll be rooting that one in too.
What do you think? You think the Blue Jays have a shot?
They do have a shot because if you can get to that bullpen, I mean, everybody. It's not like I'm breaking any news here, but if you can get to that Dodger bullpen, they're vulnerable. And listen, the Blue Jays, they got a lot of good bats in that lineup. You just gotta. When you get the good pitch, you got to hit it. Yamamoto was giving them nothing as far as like a good pitch the other night. But, I mean, every pitcher has their vulnerability.
That'll be the tough thing. They will have to see Yamamoto again, I'm sure. And Blake Snell, they got to him the first game. I think he'll probably turn around, though.
Yeah, he's not easy to get to, but they got to him,
Alarm going off. There's a couple more before we let you out of here.
Okay.
Well, first, and now that hockey started and NBA as we mentioned. We got all four in action. How's the handle been so far or people kind of just easing their
Hockey
way in?
action's been really good. I mean, this town, when I got here, 10 years ago, hockey was like, it was on the board, but it wasn't, a lot of people didn't pay attention to it. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and, Ryan has a lot of Chicago connections. So, like, those kind of teams, we had guys from, Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, New York. But now, with the success of the Knights, I mean, it's really grown in popularity. The NBA right now, we know there's issues in the NBA. It's really been going on for a couple of years. Players, don't always play, and sometimes it's a, minor injury. And I always say, go back. I know, Michael Jordan's talking about it. I played every day.
Yeah.
Larry Bird had that bad back and played every day. Kevin McHale came off a broken foot that one year that never healed properly. Played every day. I mean, you're getting way more than those guys made. And these guys it's nothing for them to sit out, and it's bad. It's bad for the league, and I want all the leagues to thrive. I've said that, but right now the NBA is not thriving.
The schedule, they need to do something.
I don't have all the answers.
I think they've just tried to increase so much, trying to get as much money as
when
they
you're with the owner,
right?
it's hard to cut back.
I get it.
But if your team does not make the playoffs, which half the league does not, you're not going to do so well financially.
Sure.
I don't know. Something has to be figured out.
Yeah. Just a couple more crazy. North Carolina found some life.
Hard.
2 weeks in a row now. Look at Ryan actually has his UNC.
Yeah, look at that. He's got that. That was Carolina Blue. But you pointed out on our show Friday that the week before, I forget who they played. Cal. They fought all the way to the end. Probably should have won. They fumbled that ball in the end zone. Here they lost by 1,
yes.
right? Against, I think, a pretty good team. So they have not quit, and I thought that they would have some quit in them. Now, they're not that good, unfortunately.
No.
Where are they this week? I know my number kind of came a little bit against them, but I had to take another look because they have not quit on
at Syracuse.
They're at Syracuse.
My number came against them too.
On Friday.
Yep.
Oh, Fridays. Okay, I was looking the wrong day. Yeah, I made a number 3. I mean, it's 2.5. So it's kind of right there. But yeah, they have not quit. That's going to be a good game to watch on Friday.
A few good games in the ACC this week because Miami has to go to SMU, so that's not going to be easy for them. SMU, of course, coming off a loss themselves. Louisville and Virginia, is that right? No.
Tech. Virginia Tech.
Playing Stanford.
Yes.
No, Pitt's playing Stanford.
Virginia's
playing Cal.
Yeah.
Yes, that should
and
be
you
a
got
good
Duke
game.
and Clemson.
Yes,
That's
Duke
an
and
interesting
Clemson
game.
too.
Kind of like Duke a little bit there. Yeah, kind of like Duke.
Yeah. So some good ones there, and all the Power Four really. We'll get to them more throughout the week, kind of highlight the ranked ones. But Ryan, we got to get our whiteboards and our plays ready. Is that it for everything we have for Chris?
Yeah. The Chiefs game actually no longer 11.5, down to 11.
Really? In my store too?
Your store.
Good.
The
Okay.
other places around town are actually MGM's at 10. Some other places are 10.5. So looks
we
like
talked about it being an overreaction.
Yeah.
Talked about it. I mean, yeah. Listen,
Maybe
don't judge by yesterday. It's hard to win by double digits. Although plenty of teams seem to do it yesterday, but that's 1 week.
That's what Ryan said. He said, I'm kind of nervous to even take points right now in the NFL. It's insane what we saw yesterday. But
Well, listen, I went and double checked, and I'm not going to tell you what our percentage is, but since we started booking this card, I can go back to 2019. We're doing fine. It's hard to win, but like I said, when it wins, it hurts you.
Yeah.
You got you can see a couple of those. Like I said, the one loser we took off the board.
Well, Chris, we appreciate
Hat rack,
you.
baby, hat rack.
Appreciate you jumping in with us. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll go through our plays for the night and any final thoughts here on Sports by the Book.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us here, Sports by the Book. Please give us a follow on all of our social media, Sports by the Book and Sports by the Book LV on Instagram. Also, you see right there, YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Ryan, I was going through my whiteboard and I realized we haven't really talked about NBA, but it is the sports equinox, so we have to have a play on every single professional
On all sports?
sport going. I do have some notes for NBA I wanted to share really quick because there are 4 teams that are undefeated still in the NBA. In the West, the Spurs and OKC are both 3-0. In the East, Bulls and Sixers are both 2-0. And there are a few teams that are winless, and some of them are playing each other. So something's got to give tonight. We've got the Rockets and Pelicans, both winless in the West, only played 2 games so far, so it'll happen very soon. Celtics, Pacers, and the Nets are all 0-3. Tonight, we've got the Brooklyn Nets versus the Rockets, and we have the Celtics versus the Pelicans. Anything in those, or is there a different NBA game that jumped out to you that you could throw on your sports equinox?
Well, in one of the 2 that you mentioned, the Celtics are a road underdog in New Orleans, getting 2.5 here at the South Point. Granted, I don't know who's playing tonight for the Celtics, but that doesn't seem right. That team has been to back-to-back NBA Finals, and I know they haven't necessarily been playing great to start the year, but in my mind, there has to be more respect on the depth of that roster.
Right.
So wouldn't think the wrong side's favor there, at least a pick, or surprised by that line there.
High total in that one. Wow.
Yeah. All these totals, again, we kind of mentioned it on Monday, and I didn't keep up with it over the weekend, but going into the weekend, 14-2 to the over were NBA games in the first 3 games of the season. And to second the point, that only one team had scored beneath 100 in their 1 or 2 games to start the year. There are now 3 teams that have a game with less than 100 points scored, did not reach a team total of 100 in a game, so including the Celtics. So maybe stay off that game. But again, but you had mentioned that the Bulls are undefeated. They are a 2-point home favorite against the Atlanta Hawks. 2-point home road under. What am I saying? 2-point home underdog. There you go. Are the Bulls at home, and that total is at 243.5, the highest on the board in the NBA.
Well, we know Atlanta loves to run, so we expect those totals to always come pretty high, but I don't hate that one at all. kind of going with the team that's hot and you're getting points at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really give you guys any plays in the NBA. I'm just not confident until we get closer to game times. So yeah, I guess if we're doing one thing in every sport, I'll go with it looks like we can wait on the Chiefs, maybe get a -10 closer to kickoff there. I'll do the homer pick. I'll go with the Bulls at home against the Hawks. I will go with we're going to go full root parlay tonight for the Sports Equinox, all right? Chiefs -10, Blue Jays on the road +185, Bulls at home getting even money, and on the ice we will go over in St. Louis and Pittsburgh.
I love it. Don't forget you like the Penguins, but you might be staying away from us having the same ones. But
yeah.
I'm going with Pittsburgh there for the ice today. We had some polls, and we were going to look for the team totals for you for NFL too, if you wanted to go that route instead. But I think you do like the Chiefs there either way.
Yeah, so I mean, I had said that I think the Chiefs are going to get to 30. That is their team total, 30.5.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of how many touchdowns will they get. I do think that they will get over 30 in that game. But in terms of there was actually a stat out there that the Chiefs have a consecutive streak of 8 or 9 wins to the under in games at home that they previously scored 30 plus points at home. So in their last 3 home games, they've scored over 30, and in their last 2, they both went under, adding to an 8 or 9 consecutive streak of unders in that instance. So basically saying that tonight should be an under game if you follow that trend.
There's a trend with them too, just in standalone games, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, that
their defense stands up.
That they're unders, yeah, and defense exactly, and the second halves. So might be an in game too if we get some scoring early on. Looking at that total, we're getting over 50 there. We can go under. I would jump in on that for sure. Can we go through our first poll, the baseball one?
Yes. Yeah,
where everybody likes this series going?
Yeah, so exact result of the World Series. Dodgers in 6, +285 here at the South Point. Blue Jays in 6, 13-2 here at the South Point, 6 +650. Dodgers in 5, +275. Blue Jays in 5, 12-1. And our viewers think the Blue Jays will win one more game, but the Dodgers will win 3 before the Blue Jays win 2. So Dodgers in 6, +285 was the winner of the poll for baseball. And then we asked you a football question for tonight's Monday Night Football game. Under 4 makes more, plus prices on under receptions for 3 guys tonight. Terry McLaurin, under 3.5, +110. Xavier Worthy, under 3.5, +120. Travis Kelce, under 3.5, +110. Again, under 3.5 receptions for all 3 of those guys. Our viewers were split between Terry McLaurin and Xavier Worthy going under their receptions props, but the algorithm says 45% to Terry McLaurin.
Makes sense. First game back, right?
Yep.
So I could definitely see that. All right. I think that's it for us for today. We went through your 4, right?
Yep.
I just don't have an NBA yet. Throw a dart.
That's essentially what I'm doing. But a parlay of the 4, Chiefs -11 currently, Blue Jays money line +180, over 6 in the Blues Penguins, and Bulls money line would be around 20-1.
Very good. I'm going to throw the Cavs on here because I really like that Cleveland team. They are laying 2.5 against the Pistons, so not going to be an easy one. Maybe I should go under 231, but the first 3 are my actual real bets too. So going Commanders 11, I think is the best I can get now. I might even tease them up and tease the total too, put that together. But Pittsburgh playing good on the ice. I'm going with them. Minus 105 at home. I'm going with the Blue Jays run line first. I put first half. Too many sports going on.
It's
first
first half.
Okay.
First half.
Getting half a run at plus 105. And then I'm going with the Cleveland Cavaliers minus 2.5 on the road in Detroit. So there it is. There's my 4. Ryan gave you his 4. One of my favorite days. Throwing a dart, Noah Gray. Anything else for the Monday Night Football game, or any home runs maybe?
Not necessarily anything exciting from me, but we do have some predictions from Greg Gibson in the chat. 31-20 Chiefs, so likes the push on the 11 currently at the South Point, but over on the total. Going over with the Chiefs team total, going over with both teams totals.
Yeah.
Also thinks, I'm guessing Max gets rocked tonight 8-4, so I'm thinking the Dodgers win 8-4, and then thinking the Rockets win 125-109. At home against the Nets.
Yeah. I mean, did you see how big of a favorite they are?
Yeah, 15 and a half here at the South Point.
Yeah. To get their first win here at home. But Houston.
That one will also be kind of a revenge game for Kevin Durant.
For
KD.
Yeah.
For Houston, for
That's
the
right,
Rockets,
yeah.
going against the Nets. So.
When the big 3 was all at Brooklyn. That's
Yeah.
very true. Very true. Well, that's it for us.
We've got ticker trivia presented by City
trivia.
Light Shine.
Okay.
If we want to get to that, it was a hockey question for you guys today. On this date in sports history, October 27th, 1979, in a home game against the Chicago Blackhawks, 2 New York Islanders scored goals 6 seconds apart. Mike Bossy and Clark Gillies, which is the record. What is the current NHL record for shortest time between back-to-back goals for a single team in a game? In 2018, it took 2 seconds for Max Domi and Joel Armia of the Montreal Canadiens to score goals for their team against the Washington Capitals. While the 2-second goal difference was previously achieved by 2 teams playing against each other in 1987 and 2016, it was the first time that a 2-second separation between goals was by 2 players on the same team.
Let's save that for Thursday. I guarantee that Dwayne Colucci can get that trivia correct.
Okay.
Vince, let's save it
his Habs.
for DC on Thursday. Well, I think that's it.
Yes.
Drew Dog confirmed. Okay, we're getting out of here. Enjoy your Monday, everybody. Game 3 of the World Series, Monday Night Football, Commanders and Chiefs. A lot of NBA to pick from, hockey. Thank you to Chris Andrews for stopping in and recapping the weekend, as he always does on Mondays. Ryan McCormick, thank you. Drew Dog, Vince, and Sean behind the scenes. I'm Alex White. We'll see you guys again here tomorrow, 10 a.m. We're live at the South Point, and this has been Sports by the Book. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow.